Welcome to the Do This for Life podcast with OEV of Be Truly Faithful. I'm right here in your ear every Wednesday, encouraging ladies to do relationships, nation building, and good sex for life. Yes, this is where you get to do this for life, y'all. Woo! So let's go into today's broadcast. What's up, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Trapped by the hurtful words of loved ones when words hurt like hell. Okay, so I'm sure most of y'all have heard the phrase, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. Well, as we got older, we know that wasn't true, right? We found that out. But, to be honest, though, when we were little, we knew that wasn't true then. Because we could feel that hurt and pain, right? Because a lot of times, the words that bother us to this day in adulthood were said to us when we were young. Not all, but a lot of times, right? So, many of us can think back and remember on when our mothers, our fathers, siblings, even family and friends have said some most hurtful things to us, right? And it wasn't always necessarily the words used, but the tone that was used with those words, right? Or the intent to harm, okay? Or some kind of derogatory name because of the color of your skin, whether it's really, really light skin or really, really dark skin. We've had those family members to say some things to us that were hurtful that they either were meaning in jest and they thought it was okay, or they meant it. They were meaning to degrade and demean us because of issues they had within themselves. Let's talk about if it was just done in just regular conversation, maybe not always in jest, but just out of a habit, right? Because it was part of their natural habitat. Check this out. When my husband was very, very young, like a young boy, his dad would actually call him dummy. He was like, "Oh, dummy, that's not right. Now you got to get this right. Don't be a dummy," things like that. And my husband actually called his dad out on it. He said he got so upset one day that he said, "I really don't like you calling me dummy. It hurts my feelings." And his dad was like, "Oh, son, I didn't mean anything by it." You know what I mean? It was part of his father's natural habitat, something he had heard all his life, that he was just doing what he normally did and what was done to him. So my husband just did not understand that, didn't think that was a cool word to say. And so thank the Most High, his dad listened and actually apologized for it. He told him that he didn't mean anything by it and he was sorry. And he actually never called my husband that again. So that goes to show you, not all the times are people meaning to degrade or demean. All right. They're just saying something that's been said all their lives, so now they're saying it to the children that they have now, you know what I mean? But there is the flip side of that. What about when people are meaning to degrade or demean you and put you down? So we got to be able to tell the difference with intent and when it's just, they're just joking around, even though both hurt. But the way we can handle these situations, we can do so by discerning the motive of the people involved, our loved ones. If they're just doing it and joking and just, it may be easier to talk to them. But if it was meant out of anger to demean and hurt, or they were lashing out or whatever, we may have to do a little different things with that, okay? So let's be real. Words can hurt. Now, the intent along with the words can hurt as well. Okay. Y'all remember on a previous episode when I used the phrase go to hell as an example of a phrase that can hurt people, right? Well, this phrase has actually hurt a lot of people. Being told go to hell or go straight to hell can definitely be hurtful words along with intent, because often when this is said, the person is saying it out of anger and they're saying it that because they wish the person would perish. Now, it may be said in the heat of the moment and they may be sorry for saying it later, but at that time, it's being said to hurt. They're so angry, they are lashing out in hurt. So we talked about before things that we have said, like what have you said out of anger that was really hurtful to the other person. Today we're dealing with what's been said to you that's been very hurtful to you and how it has affected you. So all of this, it's really still dealing with anger, but now we're dealing with the other side of it. When the anger or the issues, whatever that person has, is being taken out on you. All right. That's what we want to deal with today. So this past Tuesday Talk post with OEV was about the hurtful words loved ones have said to us. And when I tell y'all this was almost one of the saddest Tuesday Talks I've ever done, that is the truth. Because man, it really hurt to read some of those comments. And to be frank, I actually had to step away from the post several times just to clear my head, because some of the comments were not just really triggering, because I've been healed in these areas of things that's been said to me that were really hurtful. I've been healed and delivered for some time now. Looking at the words words that had been said to some of these beautiful ladies in the group and how it affected them. So today, I want to give some tips to help these ladies and you, whoever's listening, who struggle in this area, move forward in the healing process of their lives. So that's what I'm here to do today, okay? And this episode of the Do This for Life podcast with OEV, your host, is dedicated to all the beautiful ladies on that post that have had some terrible and horrible things said to them by the people they love most in this world. I love you, ladies, and I thank you for your bravery and being vulnerable and sharing many of the things you may have either never shared or you haven't shared in quite some time. I'm pretty sure it was hard just writing those words and then coming back and reading them and reading the responses to your words. Okay. So today I think I'm going to share a few of the comments from the post just to use as an example to show how we can overcome dealing with hurtful words. Now, also remember, go to workwithoev.com so you can join the group so that you can be a part of these awesome posts that I'm putting up along with other posts. And it's just for queens. And you can participate in these Tuesday talks and then some. Okay? Now, let's get to the comments from the post. You lost that baby because you were out being a whore and that baby wasn't mine. That's one. Another one is, when I was 19, I was pregnant with my second child, living with my mom. And when she found out, she kicked and screamed at my room door that I was a stupid bitch. And then she said, he don't want no damn baby, you sorry piece of shit. So I jumped out the window and moved with his parents. She didn't see me until after I had him. When I moved back, she started fights with me and would throw me and my baby stuff outside. Whew, okay. My mom told me how for a period of time she used to live in an area where there were mainly male residents and she had nothing to do with them sexually. She then looked at me and said, but if it was you would have had something to do with all of them, wouldn't you? I was a teenager at the time, but it still hurts me to this day. My dad told me that he was a grown man and he could fit into my shorts. And I was just a kid. For those that may not understand that, because it took me a couple of times to read that to make sense, basically her dad was insinuating that she was fat. She was big. Okay. To continue on, she wrote, he's also the one who would remind me of all the starving kids in Ethiopia and to clean my plate. To this day, I have had a hard time leaving anything on my plate, even if I'm full, and I feel my weight is keeping me from finding love. Not sure I ever did deal with that. Okay, another one. You are more valuable to your kids dead than you are alive. I will never ever forget this or how I felt hearing it. Another one. Someone I loved, which was my daughter's father, said to me, I hope that effing baby die inside of you. Most hurtful thing I could ever hear coming from him. But I left him and my beautiful daughter is here and we are doing just fine without him. Next. I was 22 and pregnant with my firstborn, and my mother wasn't ready to be a grandmother. She told me that she hoped that I would miscarry. Okay. Another one says that I was a tasteless and classless hoe. Another one, my mother told me she wished she had aborted me. She said a lot of hurtful things to me, but that hurt the worst. I was a wreck after she said that. I cried for days. I was already suffering from low self-esteem and depression, and that really pushed me over the edge. It took therapy and me realizing she was putting her own pain onto me to recover from it. Oh, y'all. Okay, last one, because I don't think I can keep reading all of these. If I knew then what I know now, I would have offered abortion money. Her dad said that. Okay, y'all. Don't some of these just hurt you to your very core to even hear, even though they weren't said to you? And that some of you are listening, they were said to you or something similar. And I know they are probably, quote unquote, re-hurting you. All right. Like, how can people form their mouths to say these things to children, to daughters, to sons, to young ladies, to young men, to women, to our significant others? This is enough to cause someone mental anguish. But unfortunately, in this life, hurtful words seem to be inevitable. Like it happens to just about all of us, right? And they cut so deep, deeper than we may ever realize. So deep, it can cause us to spiral out of control. It can cause us to have mental health issues. It can cause us to have low self-esteem and feel rejected. So it can do some very harmful things to us. Okay, it can make us not only feel some type of way, it's like these words are sent out to destroy us, destroy our self-esteem, destroy our well-being, our mental health, okay? And look, for me, like on the post, I shared something that my dad said. And I mean, I've talked about this before, something like he blamed me or for the abuse that we suffered in the house. But I want to share something else that actually came from my mom. Listen, 2 words. Who knew 2 words would hurt me so deep? 2 words that she would say. I know it's like 2 words, OEV. Like, really? And even when I tell you, you're going to be like, OEV, really? Come on now. Toughen up, OEV. Really? Listen, I would be sharing some things with my mom about mothering that, the children did. They accomplished something like I taught them how to read. And I was very excited about the progress I was making in homeschooling my children. And that I'm the one who taught 4 of them how to read. So that was an accomplishment, right? And I remember sharing some other things that I had accomplished as well, like finishing to get certain certifications and things like that. And she would literally respond with just 2 measly words that actually cut like a knife. And you know what they were? Yeah, right. That's what they were. That's it. Yeah, right. Like, how can these 2 words cause so much pain? Do you know I found myself saying that to my children a few years back? And they would say, no, really, mommy, this did happen. And I had to actually check myself quick because I knew I hated those words and the intent used with them with a passion. Believe it or not, y'all, those 2 simple words literally crushed my spirits. It actually caused some despondency in me that I couldn't function. Right? I felt so rejected and dejected when they were used. And you know something? Another thing I felt weak. Like weak as in a wuss. Like, girl, you feeling like this over 2 words? The hell is wrong with you, girl? What's going on with you? Get over it. But that's the thing, y'all. I couldn't seem to get over it. Have y'all ever felt that way? Like something was said to you, like some things are just blatant, cruel, and hurtful said to you. But some other things, like if you were in the group and you read the post or you heard someone say something and they're like, well, my mom said this to me or my dad said this to me. And you're looking at them like, okay, what's so bad about that? But see, if you wasn't there at the time that whatever those words are were spoken and the way that they were said and the intent behind them, then it's not going to make sense. Some things it's better to experience in person to really get the full effect and understand than it is if we tell the story, right? I just couldn't seem to get over when she said that and all that went with that, okay? And I'll explain that in a little bit, but I had to know why I felt so incensed, yet so rejected when she would say those words. So I had to get to the root, y'all. And y'all, let me just say, I am so glad for mentors. Y'all just don't know how important they have been to me. I've been so broken and so down, and these ladies, my mentors, have lifted me up. They literally lifted me up on their shoulders and talked, walked, and prayed me through so many things that I actually would not care to share. And I actually do share a lot. Okay. So at the time, y'all, I hit up one of my mentors who was, I would say, the more spiritual of the 2. And they both were spiritual, but she was just more spiritual, whereas the other one was a little bit more kind of practical and logical. So it was a balance there, and I needed them both. Okay. So this particular mentor began to pour into me by first telling me she was proud of me. When I had got everything out, her first words to me were, I'm proud of you, Octavia. Do y'all know I broke down when she said that? I cried so hard. And listen, at the time I was crying, it's like a release was going on, but at the same time, I still felt stupid. I still felt so weak, like, quote unquote, a wuss. Like, who in the world is crying behind 2 words? Listen to me, y'all. See, the comments that I read make sense that they hurt. Mine don't make sense. They don't make sense because it's like, OEV, it's just, you're right, move on. And these were words that were said to me as an adult, not a child. So why did they bother me so much? So here I am on the phone just breaking down simply because she said, I'm proud of you. She said, in spite of all you've been through, I'm still proud of you, and you make me proud to know you. And she didn't really use the word proud, okay? That was not her thing. She really didn't like using the word proud. But it seemed like in this case, she made an exception for me to pour into me. But she was like, in spite of all you've been through, I'm so proud of you, and you make me proud, and I'm loving who you're becoming. And you reach out, even when it hurts. And I was just thinking, when I was thinking back to what she said, we ladies don't tell each other this enough. Some of us have grew up in some really dysfunctional, hurtful, harmful homes where they literally took life from us instead of giving life and cultivating life and abundance. They took from us. And this is just, a part of some of our lives, okay? It's not to put down your family, my family, but it's to say this is what happened. And I think that us ladies do not tell each other this enough. We have to do this more. I've had ladies say that I'm an over complimenter, a word they made up. But listen, ladies, you just don't know how much I have grown because I could barely compliment anyone because I was so used to compliments coming primarily from men my whole life. I had one aunt who would say some kind things to me and about me, but other than that, compliments were just not what I heard regularly growing up unless it was from a boy or a man when I was playing sports and winning. Now, there was a time now, let me also say, my mom did say some really good things to me growing up. She did. Okay. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. But as we got older and I became a believer, things changed between us. Okay. They changed because we used to be super close. Right, her from college and everything. But things changed once I became a believer. So compliments were just not something that I really heard a lot of as I got older, growing up. And then, of course, as I got older, it was always tied to if I did something in sports or whatever, but not much anywhere else. So for me to compliment someone is a big thing. All right. It was very hard for me to give compliments. Now, keep following me here. This particular mentor, I'm on the phone with her, right? And she was telling me that she was proud of me and she let me cry for like 3 minutes. She was just silent while I was crying. Then she said it again. It's almost like she wanted me to cry again or get it all out because she said it again, and she said the most beautiful words to me when I told her that my mom would say, yeah, right, when I'm telling about my accomplishment or something that I did for my children that was really good. And I couldn't understand why those words hurt me so much. And it was just 2 simple words, like really get over yourself. Why are you upset? And I didn't know what was wrong. So I remember I said I had to get to the root. And she said to me, Octavia, the reason why I'm proud of you is because you reach out when you're in error. You reach out to get better. So when you come to someone, you come letting everything out so that you can get encouraged and get the help that you need. And then she goes on. Remember, I told her she was the one that was just more spiritual. She says, the reason why those 2 words hurt you so much is because you're still looking for approval from your mother. You still want her to say that she's proud of you. You're doing a lot of things with having your children and no one's really telling you that they're proud of you. And sometimes we ladies just need to hear that someone is proud of us. And so I'm listening to her say this, and she's saying that you still want her to say that she's proud of you. But instead of her saying that she's proud of you, she's saying, yeah, right. Every time you tell her about something that you've done, you're still looking for her approval. And I'm just bawling, y'all. I'm just bawling because it was true. When I would share my accomplishments of things I did at home as a stay-at-home mom, work-at-home mom, it's like, we just get the short end of the stick. Nobody really, they're just like, yeah, it's whatever, that you stay home, whatever. I mean, I'm used to it now, y'all, but I'm saying that's where I was at that time. Okay. So I just want to share that with y'all. So anyway, my mentor continued to explain to me why they hurt so much. She said, but you are doing things and you're accomplishing things, and that's good and that's amazing. And you're telling your mom, but instead of her saying that, that's good or that's amazing or inquiring more of how you did that, she just says, yeah, right. When you're proud of yourself and you just want to share that with her so that she can be proud too. And then she went on to say that as parents, we're supposed to listen to and cheer on our children so that it encourages them to want to do even more good and accomplish more things. She said that we're the first cheerleaders our children ever have. And that right there made me cry even harder, y'all. I literally cried through the entire call. I mean, she had to stop talking several times because I was crying. And I think a lot of it was release, just getting it out, but also finally getting to the root of why those words hurt me so much, because it was also the attitude and the tone used. Yeah, right. Because it's like saying this. Yeah, right. Whatever. You ain't do all. That's not you. Those children are just smart. It has nothing to do with you. But it was kind of like that. It was like it was being thrown back up into my face. So it was very hard because when you're at home mom at the time and you're not around a whole lot of adults. So, you get out when you finally do. And, with other moms who have children, you get to share your accomplishments, your failures, and everybody's cool. But outside of that society and you try to share it with family, it could be a bit different. So what she was saying was so true to me. And it just really helped me to understand why I was so bothered and triggered by that. So if you're listening in right now and you've ever been hurt by your parents with words and they've said some things that were just really and truly hurtful to you, you listening is like reaching out in a certain way, shape, or form. And I just want to let you know that I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you too. And I want to cheer you on a more personal level. Okay. I'm grateful that you're here listening in to the entire podcast, hint, hint, but no, taking heed to some things, And I do have something coming up for very soon for some ladies that have been asking me for mentorship, because I realize how important it is and how it's needed. And so y'all, that mentor I was telling y'all about, that I had her a mentor for 7 years, and she passed away last year from cancer, unfortunately. F cancer, as they say. Really, I hate it. Okay. But I saw her on a post debating and spitting so much truth. I was so intrigued and attracted to her spirit and her speech, the way she spoke to people. I was like, I gotta make her my mentor. And Father God, I am so glad that I did. Okay. So anyway, on that day, that woman spoke so much life into me while also wiping my tears away and lifting me up. And this explained why those 2 words would suck the life out of me. Because after all my mom and I've been through with the abuse, dealing with the abuse of my dad while growing up, and how close we were growing up and in college and into my 20s, all of this before I became a believer, it was hard. It was like total rejection to me for her not to be cheering me on anymore, for her not to be proud of me anymore, because she seemed to always be that way. And it was just something happened in life where it wasn't happening anymore. Okay. So I have been wanting that relationship back to the way it was. I realized that day after talking to my mentor that it could never go back, because I was also mentored into cutting the apron strings. And this is something I want to talk about today and some solutions. And that was so hard to do, is I love so hard, right? So it's always hard for me to let anyone go, even if it's in dysfunction. It's hard for me to let go of relationships because I love hard. When I give my all, I have to take my all back. And that's the thing, it's hard to take it back, because when I give my all, I'm giving it like an anchor to stay. It's not to go anywhere. It's to hold things down. That's the type of person I am. This is why I have to be very, very picky about who I choose to let in my life closely like that. Okay. But in this case, I was born into this relationship, right? So I was a type 2. I would hold on to the dysfunction I knew rather than take a chance on the function I did not know. And y'all, that was literally over 6 years ago. So what I'm about to share with y'all is some solutions. I just gave y'all a little bit of something that hurt me and it didn't make sense. I share with you some horrible comments that was said to these lovely ladies. That's why I took time to explain to you. Sometimes it's not actually the words, but the intent, the attitude behind them, if that makes any sense. Okay. So that's why my situation may sound like, oh, Evie, that, them words is whatever compared to what's said to me. Yeah, I know. But my mentor also said that the reason those words were so triggering and so hurtful to me was because it was also dismissive. It's like downplaying your accomplishment. So I want you to imagine that you're so excited about something amazing just happened in your life. Say you got a role in a movie as an extra, and you go and tell someone, they're like, yeah, right. They don't even believe you, and you have to do all this convincing. You spend all this time convincing them because they don't believe you, and there's like no reason for them not to believe you, right? Or imagine if it's a child and they did something amazing at school that everybody was applauding them for, and they come home to tell their mom and their dad, and mom or dad is like, yeah, right, It's almost like saying no one was really applauding you or happy for you, or you didn't do anything amazing and whatnot. And so if you continue to hear that over time, yes, despondency can set in and you could feel rejected because you're out here feeling accomplished in something and celebrating. You're coming to the people that you love the most to share that with them so that they can celebrate with you, partake in that celebration, and they basically dismiss you. They downplay it. It's not important to them. So even as adults, we can feel this way, especially when it comes to people like our parents. Other people out on the streets may not make us feel that way, but our parents, it's a totally different story, y'all. So that kind of, I hope that kind of explains and help y'all to understand where I was coming from. If you didn't already, I just want to add that bit in there. So today, for those who have been hurt by their mothers, their fathers, a sibling, a loved one, or a significant other, or even the modern day church, I'm here to help you have a little peace today when people said things to you that hurt your very heart, hurt your very soul, and even hurt your mental health. There may be, just like with me, there may be some tears today, but just know he bottles those tears, honey, and we gonna get through all of it today and do this for life. And what is this, quote unquote, this today? It can be whatever it is in your life right now that needs rectifying. It's a day of reckoning, which means it's time for an evaluation and righteous judgment on how these things have it, which means it's time for an evaluation and righteous judgment on how these things have affected you and the people involved who may have been affecting your life negatively. It's time, y'all. I've been watching this show in my very limited spare time on Netflix called Rain. That's why it's going to take me forever to get through it because I never really have the time. And one of the things right now where I'm at, I'm only in season 2. One of the things they keep talking about right now is the day of reckoning. And I now realize how this may relate to many of you, meaning it is time. The time for healing is now. The time for deliverance is now. So we gonna do healing for life. We gonna do deliverance for life. We gonna do going forward for life. Whatever this is, sis, we about to get it all for life today. We about to get at it starting today, okay? Because that's what the Do This for Life podcast with OEV is all about, y'all. It's all about not only just exposing the things that go on in relationships that we need help with, but also helping with solutions. So as I love to do, here are some things you can start doing right now today to get you on to healing from those words that almost destroyed you. I say almost because you listen to this podcast, right? That means even though you may still be hurting, you are here. Think about the play, The Color Purple. And you remember when Fantasia was doing The Color Purple and she sang that song because, ain't nobody sing it like her. She sang that song, I'm Here. I want you to Google her singing that song and watch what it does to your spirit and your soul after this pod. You are here, sis. You are here. So here we go. Here are 7 things. I'm gonna give you 7 today. And I'm gonna give you a bonus too. You need this bonus. But here are 7 things to stop the bleeding of hurting words and get yourself to healing right now. Number 1, set a timer to vent about the hurtful words that was said to you. Go home and get it out, sis. That means run to whoever you need to or get along by yourself and just vent like you losing your mind. Or how about this? Vent like you are clearing your mind. How about that? Because you don't need to hold this in any longer. And what I mean by holding it in, it doesn't necessarily mean holding it in and not saying things to people. That's definitely one thing, one way to hold things in. But it also means holding in as in you're holding on to it. Okay. And it is either at the forefront of your life or it is lying dormant. But when something triggers you, it comes up and it comes out. So that's why you got to set a timer to vent about what is bothering you, what's hurting you, what's been hurting you for life. Some of the comments mention that it still bothers them to this day. Some people are being held hostage to some things that were said to them as kids. But I want you to know, you got to remember, once you set that timer, whether it's an actual timer or a mental timer, but once it goes off, time's up. You're done with venting about this, okay? You can vent for hours, a day, some days, or even a week. Just set a timer on that and make sure when that timer goes off, you stop going off, okay? So give yourself enough time to vent about all these hurtful words that was said to you. Number 2, reach out to your support system who will listen to your rant during this time that you're venting. And they should be giving you empathy, sympathy, just support and uplifting you and praying for you. They should do for you what Mia, that's her name, my mentor that passed away. They should do for you what Mia did for me, which was listen to me and speak life into me. This is so needed, ladies. We need this. We need this. And there's nothing wrong with doing this with best friends, BFFs. I think we also need to have some older wives in that support group, at least one, to help us through the things that BFFs may not understand, okay? So you can be venting by yourself. Let's say you're doing 3 days of venting. You set it for 3 days. Well, then one of those days, it's just you, just getting it out. Another day, it's you and your BFFs or whoever. And then another day, it's you and your mentors. But by the time that timer goes off, you're done. Okay, so I want you during your venting sessions, during this time that you have set to vent, I want you to also reach out to your support system. Number 3, now this may be a hard one, and it may even be a big one to many of you. Say aloud that you don't receive the hurtful comments spoken to you. Even if you've already received them and you've been carrying this all your life, I want you to stop it. I want you to stop receiving them because if they're still bothering you to this day, you have been receiving them over and over again, or you have received them permanently, and it's time to do some uprooting. So I want you to say aloud that you do not receive those hurtful comments spoken about you or spoken to you, and then speak up and replace them with the truth. For example, if like in my situation, I was sharing an accomplishment with my mom and she said, yeah, right. Then I would say my accomplishment out loud and tell myself how awesome I am. Like, girl, you the ish, can't nobody do it like you, girl. Or in my case, if I was teaching my children to learn how to read and they've never been to regular school whatsoever, I'm like, girl, you did something amazing. You know what I mean? Girl, you better get it where you live, honey. That's an accomplishment, right? So I'm going to say my accomplishment out loud, and then I'm going to tell myself how awesome I am. So like, instead of someone saying, yeah, right to me, I'm going to say the response that I should have received when it was said. And this is why support systems are so important. So basically what I'm doing is I'm accepting myself where myself was rejected. Y'all understand? So that's what I'm doing. I'm saying the hurtful things that was said to me out loud, and then I'm speaking up and replacing them with the truth. I am awesome. That was amazing to teach my son how to read. I didn't major in education. But I'm smart enough to do it. So I'm saying my accomplishment out loud, and I'm accepting myself where myself was rejected. I'm embracing myself where I was shunned. Okay. That's a lack of better words. And I'm cheering myself on whereas I was booed. And I'm cheering myself on where I was booed. Does that make sense? You got it? And this is why support systems are so important, because while you're speaking life into you, your support system is also speaking life into you. And with this, teamwork is happening. Sis, how can you lose? Think about it. If all these amazing people are for you, as well as the Most High is for you, who can really be against you? Now, if it was actually words said to you, for example, one of the horrible words said to a lady on the post was that I wish your mother would have aborted you, then you say the devil is a lie. You say Trump is a lie. You say Roseanne Barr is a lie. Whoever it is who is a whole lie. And you just say, hey, I'm supposed to be here. That's why I'm here. You ain't know? That was the plan for my life. No abortion could stop me. No devil in hell could stop me. No Trump in office could stop me. y'all get the point. Baby, you thought I should have been aborted, but mercy said no. Okay. Can't nobody stop this greatness from being birthed. That's why I'm here. I was made for this, homie. And then you can rock that I'm Here song by Fantasia from The Color Purple play and get every bit of your life, okay? And just be like, this is not about me. I don't receive none of them words. When people are, even if today, if they're saying it to you, then when you think about it, when they said things to you then, or even now, just remember, it's not even about you. Them saying hurtful words to you, it's not even about you. So don't receive none of those words. Don't receive none of those lies, because that person's problem does not get to tell me who I am. So guess what? Their issue, whatever it is, whatever the reason is they're lashing out at you, it does not get to tell you who you are. Remember, be like, baby, I am here. Now what? What they thought. See how you feel now? Some of you should be starting to feel better. I'm telling y'all need to play this song. I'm Here by Fantasia and get all your life. I'm going to tell you how powerful that song is. Not one time have I listened to that song and not cried. That's how powerful it is. Because when you have been downtrodden, put down, cast aside, all of those things, and yet you still here, you still standing. Oh, it does something to you to hear those words, especially when you think back to the movie The Color Purple, for those of you who've seen it, and saw how Miss Celie was treated, but she was still there. We still here, okay? Let's move on. Number 4. Remember, just like words hurt, words heal, okay? Remember that just like words hurt, words heal. So take time to counter every hurtful thing that's been said about you, and you want to counter that with healing words. Every single time you feel that dejection rise up in you based off what was said to you. So you got the 1, 2, and 3 going. So you're saying out loud the hurtful things that was said to you, and you're speaking up and replacing them with truth. So now you need to remember that words can heal. Just like they hurt, words can heal. So every single time you feel something rise up in you based off what was said to you, whether it's anger, whether it's dejection, whether it's despondency, whatever, take time to counter those hurtful words with healing words. Every single time. Because our minds have a tendency to record everything and then play it back at random moments. We don't even push play. But it just started playing. We could be in the middle of having fun and boom, that thought comes. Y'all ever had that happen? You could be in the middle of taking a trip. Boom, the thought happened. So remember this and know what to do when those random replays come up. Know that the same way words can tear down, they can build up. So build yourself up, talk yourself up, boo. You got this. All right. That was number 4. Number 5. Now this one may be hurtful, but necessary for you to do. Learn to love from a distance. Learn to love from a distance and no longer allow negative talk or negative energy in your space. You do not have, none of us do. None of us have the mental capacity to handle all this up close and personal negativity. We don't. We wasn't made to handle all of that negativity. And that doesn't make you weak, sis, just because you can't handle that or just because you don't have the mental capacity to handle it. It actually makes you strong. How? Because you recognize your limits. A strong person recognizes their limits. There is strength in recognizing where the buck stops, like the buck stops here and the buck stops and it drops and it rolls on up out my face, okay? We ain't got the time or the mental psyche to handle negativity like that. We were not made to handle negativity every day. That's why so many of us have been messed up mentally, because we were trying to handle it. And sometimes we were forced to handle it because we were kids. So we didn't have any choice. We couldn't escape. And this is what I hate about dysfunction. And while my husband and I speak out against it so much, and we work really hard on raising our children up in functional family home, and we want to teach and encourage other people to do that. That's why we're having that seminar, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. So don't try to be some tough queen with this, because we weren't made to handle negativity like that. We can handle some things, but we do not have to choose to take on combative negativity that was sent to destroy our mental health and spirit. So don't try to be the tough queen. Be peaceful queen and learn to love from a distance. Number 6, speak kind words to someone else. Now, this can be hard when you may have been one who rarely hears kind words spoken to you, and normally what's in us is going to come out of us, right? So it's going to be kind of hard, but this may start up as being mechanical. You got to start somewhere. And this is actually why you need a support system if you don't have one, because support systems help take up the slack that our loved ones left when they was hurting us. Okay, they help take up the slack. So here is where you may sow where you didn't reap, but that's okay, because now if you sow this, you will actually reap it. Okay, so here's how we can get into a habit of speaking good and healing words, not only to ourselves, but also to others. So get in a habit of speaking good and healing words to yourself and others instead of bad and hurtful words in retaliation to the things that were said to you. Okay. Ever hear we become like those we're around the most? Well, if you were around people hurting you all the time, you will hurt others. So you can break the cycle by having an amazing support system and speaking kind words to someone else. You can break it. You can either break it if you're already in that cycle, or you can break it before it starts. Okay? Because it started by speaking life into someone, yourself as well as others, while you're working on getting you together. Remember that you sow, you will reap. That's life, and that's even biblical. Number 7, stay busy doing life. Yes, during this chapter of healing in your life, you must stay active in something that will keep your mind on healing and not on pity. It is easy for us to drown ourselves in the pity party pool, y'all. It is so easy. Meaning, many of the reasons we end up falling off the path of deliverance and healing is because we got complacent and had a pity party. So if we're just speaking these amazing words to ourselves each day, and then we're playing the song by Fantasia, I'm Here, and then we got some other motivation songs playing, okay, that's all fine and good, but what else are we doing? We need to be finding a hobby, a business, a project, or something to help keep us busy. You know, they said idle minds are the devil's workshop. So if that is the case, busy hands can keep that stuff at bay. It can keep idleness at bay. So while you are working on yourself, find something that you can participate in, whether it's meeting up with friends, whether it's something that you need to do on a daily basis to help you while you're doing these steps. Okay? Stay busy doing life. This will help you not to fall off that path and get complacent and then start having pity pool parties. All right. And now bonus 8, since 8 means new beginning, and this is a new beginning for many of us. We're about to go into a new month. Find powerful words to meditate on and do a mirror speech. Now you may say, well, this sounds similar to me saying words. Oh, listen, my little bro, his name is Derek Grace. He made this a thing. All right. He calls it a mirror speech, where you stand in the mirror each morning and you say a speech to yourself on how amazing you are. Okay. This will keep you lifted, empowered, and on track to getting the healing that you need in this area. You can speak all kind of things to yourself, or you can put all kind of things in your mirror speech. It needs to be something that you say over and over again that you can memorize. Okay. Because even while you're out during the day, you can say these things. Your mirror speech can be verses from the Bible, quotes from people you follow that's motivating, things you've seen that's powerful that was said in a movie, on TV, or on the internet. Anything that is inspiring you, that's going to inspire you to get up and look at yourself every morning and every day when you first get up, and it uplifts you and encourages you to keep going and to get to healing. Even your own words, something that you made up, that you actually repeat to yourself, can be used here. And why is this necessary? Because it's been proven, and lots of studies have been done on this, that words and thoughts that are repeated often get stronger by the repetitions, and it sinks into the subconscious mind, and it affects the behavior, actions, and reactions of the person involved. Okay? This is very important to do. So you can say things like, you are more than a conqueror. If God be for me, who can be against me? No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And even more like, I love me. I am enough. Isn't that a big one? I'm here. I love that one, y'all, because it's got a theme song to go with it. Like, I am pretty. Some of us have struggles with self-esteem based off the words that people have been saying to us all our lives. So I am pretty. And they told us we were weak. I am strong. They're not proud of me. I am proud of me. I mean, talk to yourself like you're someone you love. You should be loving yourself, right? You got this. We can do this. It's nothing too hard. You always hear people say it's nothing too hard for God. Well, listen, if he's in you, it's nothing too hard for you. Right? Come on. Y'all got this for life. You can do this for life, boo. Woo, okay, so we did it again. Another episode completed. Thank you so much for tuning in. And also thank you for sharing my podcast with others to help in bringing more awareness to the many issues we have in relationships. Thanks to Ben Sound for the music. I appreciate that. Now listen, I've been pouring into you all weekly. If my podcast has been encouraging and a blessing to your life, then I need you to do two things for me right now today. Two things. Number one, share this podcast everywhere you be on social media. Do that for me. Share. And then go to build-a-nation.com to register for our upcoming family seminar. We'll be having it this summer, okay? I need you to sign up before it fills up. I like that. Sign up before it fills up. Hey, sign up before it fills up. Okay. As it will be with the entire V-Force fam, and we will be sharing on the 5 pillars of functional families, along with addressing so much more on a personal level like relationships, sex, and parenting, all of it as a resort to building your nation. So go to build-a-nation.com and register for our seminar. It's going to be local as well as online. So you can go do that right now. And it's only $19.97, y'all. There's no need to wait. You can do it now before it fills up. And I know y'all got $19.97. Y'all got this. It'll be online and local, like I said. So go sign up. Help your sister out by sharing and signing up. This is going to be beneficial for all because what my husband and I are on is a mission to help families get from dysfunctional to functional while building their nations. And it can be and will be done. We just need your support and help. All right? So go do that today. build-a-nation.com. Okay. I will be back here in your ear next Wednesday. So make sure you tune in. Let's get this thing rolling, fam. See you next week. Be encouraged, y'all. Much love.